Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Tate with Train to Win. In this video, we're going to build off of our Basics of Programming series. This is going to be episode 3. We're going to be discussing principles as to how we can manage intensity within our programming itself. The main tool that we like to use within our programming on how to manage our intensity is going to be referred to as Prilepins chart. Within previous years, they have researched many athletes in regards to what set rep intensity demands can be implied within the programming itself to see our super compensation. Again, if you don't understand what I mean by the term when I use the term super compensation, refer back to episode 1 of this series. So basically, a big group of individuals observed all these athletes and figured out what sets, reps, and intensities were needed to be implied without detraining any of these individuals. If we have a program that has too much stimulus implied within the program itself, we can then begin to see a detraining effect or a degressing effect. So basically what this tool was built to create was to see solid supercompensation consistently by simply managing our volume throughout our training. So as you can see here, if we're working with some lower percentages, we can obviously work with some higher rep counts. If we're working with some lower percentages, typically we want to be working, this is going to be saying about 3 to 6 reps per set for a total of 24 reps. So for example, this could be 4 sets of 6. And there is an optimal range. As long as we're within 18 to 30 reps, we can manage the recovery demands within a 55 to 65 percentile range. Again, this is basing it off of a percent of your 1 rep max. So say your rep max is 100 pounds, this would be 55 to 65 pounds for the sake of simple math. And again, you can see the trend throughout this chart here that as the intensities rise, as the percentages rise, the total rep counts begin to go down. Typically, individuals that like to go into the gym and hammer out maximal effort movements and try to hit PRs every single week, that typically can cause it to be very difficult to see that super compensation, or very inefficient in a sense. Utilizing Prilepins chart makes it to where it's super measurable and super easy to actually see consistent results within our programming itself. So referring back to some of the examples that I gave on intensity in episode 2, typically say we want to build some more strength within our 2 to 4 rep range. Typically we would want to start at the lower intensity range within our Prilepins chart in the beginning of our training phase and begin to progress it up throughout our training cycle. So the best way to utilize this tool, for example, would say we have week 1 where we start at our 80%, and then we've got week 2 where we then incrementally go up to 82.5%, and then we got 3 goes to 85%, and then 4, maybe this week we then make the jump up to 90% because everything is feeling great, and then after that we may need a deload, which is typically going to be 60% or less. So this is in a way how we would implement Prilepins chart. It's a very simple tool that can be used within our programming to help alleviate the risk of detraining or alleviate the risk of not seeing any form of results. Implying Prilepins chart with the understanding of supercompensation and the understanding of progressive overload will then make it to where your results come to you a hell of a lot more efficiently. So in next week's video, we're going to be building off of this series again, digging deeper into linear periodization as well as undulating periodization. Those words sound like big, scary words, but really it's a simple principle that we use within all of our programming itself, and it really explains how to actually apply this information within your training. So tune in for next week's video where we discuss periodization to help clear up any potential questions that this may have brought into mind. Again, this has been Tate with Train to Win. Thank you for watching.